Okay, so this Street Kred thing kind of blew up my Twitter feed last week.
Yeah, a lot of buzz going around about this one.
Yeah, and I gotta say, color me intrigued.
Definitely interesting.
Using cryptocurrency to bank the unbanked. Like, it's one thing to talk about blockchain for, supply chain management or whatever.
Right.
But this is aiming for something way more ambitious.
Yeah, you sent over their white paper.
I did.
And it's not exactly light reading, let me tell you.
No kidding, it's dense.
But it really lays out their whole vision.
Yeah, and they go deep on the tech too, but we can get into that in a bit.
Sure.
For me, the most interesting thing is how they're positioning themselves.
How so?
It's like they're embracing the whole meme coin thing.
A little bit, yeah.
Like they've got this fat cat mascot and everything.
Which is kind of their thing, right? Like, embrace the meme, but also...
But also be serious about changing the world.
Exactly. It's this weird contrast, but it's working.
It's definitely got people talking.
For sure.
So before we get too deep into the how,
Right.
Let's talk about the why for a minute.
Good idea.
Like, why is financial exclusion such a big problem in the first place?
Well, for starters, it's way more widespread than people realize.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The white paper threw out some numbers that just blew my mind.
Like what?
Globally, almost 1.4 billion adults don't even have a bank account.
No way.
1 in 5 people on the planet.
Yeah.
No secure place to save, no easy way to send or receive money.
Wow.
It's a massive problem.
That's a reality check for sure.
And it's not just about the numbers, right? We're talking about real people's lives.
Right.
Think about the everyday challenges.
Yeah.
Trying to start a business, dealing with an emergency, even just putting food on the table.
Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult without access to basic financial tools.
It's easy to forget that when you've got a smartphone in your pocket and a credit card in your wallet.
Exactly.
So the white paper talks about undocumented immigrants as a key demographic here.
Right, that's a huge part of it.
Because they often can't open traditional bank accounts.
Exactly, they lack the necessary ID.
And that's where Street Kred comes in, with this whole digital identity thing.
That's a big piece of the puzzle, yeah.
So how does that work? Do they just like magic up a digital ID for you?
Not quite magic, but it is pretty cutting-edge stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're using blockchain technology to create a system where you can potentially verify your identity without relying on traditional documents.
Okay, but how does that actually help someone who's unbanked?
Well, once you have a verified digital identity within the Street Kred ecosystem, you unlock access to a whole suite of financial services.
All powered by their cryptocurrency.
You got it. PRED. It's the fuel for everything they do.
So it's more than just a digital currency.
Way more. Think of it as the key that unlocks this whole new financial system they're building.
And this system is all accessible through their app, right?
Yep, mobile-first approach.
Which makes a lot of sense given their target demographic.
Absolutely. In many parts of the world, smartphones are the primary way people access the internet.
So they're meeting people where they are.
Exactly. No need for fancy computers or bank branches.
Just a smartphone and an internet connection.
That's the idea, anyway.
So we've got the cryptocurrency, we've got the mobile-first platform, but what about the actual services? What can you do with KRED within this ecosystem?
That's where things get really interesting. They're aiming to offer a full suite of financial tools, everything from sending and receiving money to accessing microloans, all powered by blockchain technology.
Okay, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, let's dive in.
Let's start with remittances. The white paper mentioned this as a key area of focus.
Right, because traditional remittance services often charge outrageous fees. We're talking about people sending their hard-earned money to family members, only to have a significant chunk eaten up by fees.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
And this is where blockchain technology supposedly comes in to save the day by cutting out the middleman.
Exactly. See, with blockchain, you have the potential to send KRED directly to the recipient, bypassing those traditional financial institutions and their hefty fees. The white paper actually highlighted some regions like Latin America and South Asia where these remittance costs are particularly high.
So someone working abroad could send, like, money back home, and it wouldn't cost them an arm and a leg.
That's the idea, yeah. It's about using tech to level the playing field a bit,
Makes sense. And they're also big on this whole microloan thing, right?
Huge focus for them. It's another area ripe for disruption. I mean, think about how hard it is for small-time entrepreneurs to get a loan, especially in developing countries.
Yeah, they might not have credit scores or collateral or whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. Traditional banks just aren't set up to serve them.
But Street Kred thinks they can change that.
That's the pitch. They want to use blockchain to create a more, I guess, democratic system for microlending.
Okay, so, like, imagine this. You're a street vendor in, I don't know, say, Bolivia,
What?
and you need a small loan to buy new equipment.
Right.
With Street Kred, you could theoretically apply for that loan right from your phone. No bank visits, no paperwork, just blockchain doing its thing.
And that's a powerful idea. It could really open up opportunities for people who've been shut out of the traditional financial system. The white paper actually had some wild stats on the projected growth of microlending in the coming years.
So they're betting on a growing market.
Big time. They see this as a major growth area for them.
Smart. So we've got remittances, microloans. Anything else on the menu?
Well, they mentioned other financial services too. Like they talk about savings and investment products.
Okay.
All powered by, you guessed it, KRED and blockchain tech. But they keep it kind of vague on the details.
So potentially a whole suite of financial tools that most of us take for granted.
Exactly. All accessible through a single platform, all designed with the unbanked in mind.
And ambitious.
No kidding. But here's the thing. It all hinges on KRED, right? Like none of this works if people don't actually use their cryptocurrency.
True. And that brings us to the elephant in the room. Or should I say fat cat in the room.
Yeah, we can't ignore that.
This whole meme coin branding thing, does that help or hurt them, do you think?
It's a gamble, that's for sure.
How so?
Well, on the one hand, they're generating a ton of buzz, right? Like everyone's talking about the fat cat. And that's huge in the crypto world.
For sure.
Remember those airdrops we talked about? Giving away free KRED? Classic meme coin tactic. Get people excited, build a community, all that.
Right.
But it can also backfire. Some people see that and immediately think, oh, this is just another joke coin. It's not serious.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Exactly. And they're going to have to walk a fine line to overcome that.
So what are the biggest hurdles for them? Let's say, like, hypothetically, they get past this whole meme coin stigma. What else do they need to overcome?
Well, for starters, regulation.
Mm-hmm.
The crypto space is, it's the Wild West out there right now. Every country has its own rules.
Right.
And for a project like Street Kred, aiming to operate globally, navigating that regulatory maze is going to be a nightmare.
Especially with the whole digital ID thing, right? That's going to be a minefield.
Oh, absolutely. Governments get very touchy about identity. So if Street Kred wants to offer digital IDs, especially to folks who might not have traditional forms of identification, they're going to need to tread very carefully.
So regulation is a big one. What else?
Adoption. Even if they get the tech right, even if they appease all the regulators, they still need to convince people to actually use their platform.
Which is a big ask.
Huge.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about folks who are unfamiliar with cryptocurrency in general.
It's a whole new world.
Exactly. They're going to have to make it incredibly user-friendly, incredibly intuitive. They need to educate people, build trust. It's a massive undertaking.
And then there's the whole AI thing, right?
Oh, yeah. They talk a big game about integrating AI, particularly with the Solana blockchain.
Right. To, like, I don't know, make everything super fast and efficient or something.
Yeah, supposedly it's going to optimize the entire ecosystem. But here's the thing. AI is still in its infancy, right? Especially when it comes to something as complex as finance.
So it's a bit of a gamble.
It's a gamble on top of a gamble. It's kind of the name of the game in the crypto world, though, isn't it?
True enough. But, okay, let's say they pull it off. Like, best case scenario, they navigate all these hurdles. What does that world look like?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It's almost like, could this actually, like, revolutionize how we think about finance?
It's a big claim, no doubt. But that's what they're hinting at. It's like, imagine a world where your access to financial tools, it doesn't matter where you were born, doesn't matter your credit score,
Right.
where someone in a village in the middle of nowhere, they've got the same opportunities as someone in New York City or London or Tokyo,
Yeah.
That's the kind of future they're painting.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild when you think about it.
It is. And it's not just about access either, right? It's about, like, affordable access, like those crazy remittance fees we talked about. Gone. Or needing a small business loan, but you're in a developing country and it's, like, impossible to get one.
Right. Those become problems of the past.
That's a big deal.
It is. It's about empowering people, giving them control over their own finances instead of being at the mercy of these big institutions,
Totally. Okay, so they've laid out this pretty ambitious roadmap in the white paper, right? Like app launch, exchange listings, all that.
Yeah, they've got big plans.
But roadmaps are, like, aspirational, right? Especially in the crypto world. Things change fast.
Oh, yeah. They can pivot on a dime. But even if they achieve, like, half of what they're talking about,
Right.
It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Totally. It's like you said, got to balance the skepticism with a little bit of like, what if they actually pull this off?
Exactly.
Maybe this is one of those times where the crazy idea, the one with the cartoon mascot, actually changes the world.
Stranger things have happened. Which I guess is a good place to leave it for our listeners, right?
Sure.
Street Kred, it's got potential, it's got question marks, it's got a whole lot of hype.
It does.
So do your own research, folks. Weigh the risks, weigh the rewards,
Exactly.
and decide for yourselves, is this the future of finance or just another flash in the pan?
Love it. Well, this has been quite the deep dive.
It has.
Equal parts exciting and a little mind-bending.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find down the crypto rabbit hole.
That's for sure. Until next time, everybody, keep exploring, keep asking questions.
And keep an open mind.
Couldn't have said it better myself.